Come to standing, feet hip width apart. Press your feet into the ground. Lift and roll your shoulders. And just take a breath in and out. And breathing in, raise both hands upwards, clasp, reverse. Press your backs of your palms upwards to the ceiling. Go very gently to one side. I'm going to my left. It doesn't matter. Come to the center, press up, and breathing out, go to the other side. Come to the center and press up. Turn to one side, come back to the center, and then turn to the other side, and come to the center. And then lower your hands to shoulder height. Turning your head as you breathe out, look beyond the left hand. Doesn't matter if you've gone the other way. Come to the center and breathing out, turn to look beyond your right hand and come to the center. Lower your arms and lift and roll your shoulders. Step your feet a little bit apart, hands on the waist, and just bend your knees, bottom away from you. Look to the ground so that you're not stretching your neck, and feel the engagement at your lower abdominal level. Press your feet down and come back to standing upright. Keep your hands on your waist. And then very gently lift your heels. Test your balance today. And then release your heels back down to the ground. Lift and release your shoulders. And then clasp your hands behind you. Aim the knuckles towards the floor, and you'll find this opens you up at the shoulder level. You don't need to do anything more than this, and you'll feel the lift at your chest. So this is very uplifting for the mood, very good on a day like today, which is so miserable. You can optionally lift your clasped hands a millimetre or two away from you, and then breathing out, turn to the left, come to the centre, and breathing out, turn to the right, and then come to the centre, and just release your hands. Circle your hands up, stretch up, stretch your fingers, and then circle your hands down. And again, circle your hands up, stretch, and circle your hands down. And then just lift and roll your shoulders. Bring your hands together at the palms together at the heart center. Breathing in, circle your hands up, touch palms, and then breathing out, bring your hands through the center of your body, bending your knees as you come past your heart and come to touch your fingertips either on the ground or on your shins. Wherever you are, straighten your legs a little bit and have a sense of lengthening from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, bend your knees and bend your elbows. And then breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in again, bringing your hands up, stretch your fingers, your thumbs towards your face, your little fingers away from you. And breathing out, lower your hands. And again, bring your hands to the heart center, palms together. This sets your position, your pose. Breathing in, circle your hands up. Breathing out, bring your palms together through the center of your body. And bend your knees, your elbows are obviously bent as you come to touch your fingers to the ground. Breathing in, lengthen from tailbone to the top of the head. Breathing out, soften your knees as you bend in and bend your elbows fractionally. And then breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And breathing in, stretch your fingers. And then breathing out, lower your hands back down alongside you. And one more time, bring your hands to the palms of the hands to the centre of the heart, Anjalini Mudra. And then breathing out, hands up to touch at the top. Breathing out, bring your palms through the heart centre as you bend your knees, bend your elbows. Come to touch the floor. Breathing in, lengthen your spine, tailbone to the top of the head. Breathing out, soften your knees, press your feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Hands up, stretch your fingers, and breathing out, lower your hands back down along your side. And then breathing in, hands up, touch. Try reversing your palms so that the backs of the palms touch. And then breathing out, lower your hands. Again, breathing in, raise your hands up above your head. Palms touch. Then reverse your palms. Backs of the hands together, and breathing out, lower back down alongside you. And then again, last time as you breathe in, raise your hands up, palms touch. Reverse, and breathing out, lower your hands back down alongside you. Lift and roll your shoulders. Breathing in, turn your head to the left. Breathing out, turn your head to the right. You don't have to turn it very much, just the way you're comfortable. Breathing in to the left. And breathing out as you turn your head to the right. And just repeat that movement a few times in your own breath pattern. In to the left and out to the right. Smoothing your neck next to your shoulders. And you might feel a sort of strange, almost release in your head. The left and the right and the left brain hemispheres are coordinating, but also this is very good to balance your thyroid and parathyroid glands. And bring your head back to the centre. Drop your chin slightly forward and your head slightly toward your right shoulder. And then you can enhance that by taking your right hand to your left shoulder. Breathing in, coming up. Chin slightly in. And then drop your head to the left side, to the left ear, to the shoulder. Take your left hand to place gently on your right shoulder. And then bring your head back up again. And then very gently sway, as we do very often, familiar movement through all 5 energies. The body needs to be moved to activate the lymph system, and this is a really gentle way to start that process, because it's the opposite of stagnation. It is movement, and movement is the opposite. You need movement to get everything moving, and which is a contradiction in terms, but disease tends to associate with accumulation of energies, and movement helps disperse those energies that are accumulating in the Eastern form of Eastern view of medicine. And again, you can just sway gently. If you want to be more vigorous, you can really go round your shoulders. And then just very gently sway from side to side and come to standing. Feet hip width apart. So I find this very difficult to explain, but I know you'll join in. So hands up, hands back, hands cross. Remember which arm is upper, hands back. Hands up, hands back. The other arm cross, but don't worry if you've forgotten, and back. Up, down, cross one side, back. Up, down, cross. And just keep up your pattern. And if you're wondering what this strange exercise is doing, it's connecting into your magnetic field, but it's also connecting into dispersing anger and frustration. So it's on your liver side, your gallbladder side. So it's very good at dispersing pent-up energies. And of course, winter, as we are where we are at the moment, is very much that at the moment. So just very gently swing your arms and lift and roll your shoulders. And then come to, I'm just turning to the side so that you can see me. Come to raise your left arm up and breathing out, lower your left arm to the floor as you place your hand on your right hand on your waist. Breathing in, roll upwards, left hand up, right hand stays on the waist. Breathing out, lower, bending your knees. And touching, you don't have to come to the floor, you can come to touch on your shin as well, pressing your feet down as you roll up. And we're going to carry on with this for a few breaths. Breathing out as we roll down. Breathing in as you roll up. Breathing out as you roll down. And breathing in as you roll up. And make this the last one. Roll down as you breathe out. Breathing in. And then lower the hand. And this time, you can place your left hand on your waist as you raise your right arm. And we're going to repeat on this side, breathing out, bend your knees as you lower to the ground. Breathing in as you raise your arm, right arm up. You can look ahead or up, depending on your neck capacity. Breathing out and just carry on a few times. So this is also going into your auric field, your magnetic field. You're moving your joints. You're also coordinating your movement with your breath. And so this begins to act on the nervous system, calming it down. And then make the next one the last one, and release. Lift and roll your shoulders, and then come to, in your own time, lying on the ground, legs out, straight, take your time. When you've made any kind of movement at all, it's beneficial to slow down or rest in some way to let the movement absorb into the body. And in this sequence or yoga practice, this is lying on the ground, but we're not going to be doing nothing while we're here, of course. So come to lying on the ground, extend both heels, and when you're ready, begin to circle the ankles in one direction. Just notice when you're circling your ankles, it's very easy to miss bits where we've got a stiffness or we haven't quite got flexibility. And I notice that I'm just missing little bits of my circle. I'm trying to slide past them very quickly. So just note that, just slowing the movement down into a larger part corrects that movement. And then when you're ready, reverse your circle so that you're circling your feet and your ankles in the opposite direction. And then very gently come to a standstill, just let your feet relax, stretch your toes, and then just release and relax them. And stretch your toes again, and release and relax. Now bend both knees so that both feet are on the floor. And then carry on, bend the knees again so that you're hugging your knees into your chest. And once the knees are hugged into the chest, just explore rocking from side to side. You can lift your hips off the ground and you're just massaging across your lower back area, across that area of the L4, L5 vertebra that take all the heavy duty work when we move. And they're often most prone to strain in lower back issues, along with a whole host of other things, of course. And then come to hug your knees into your chest centrally. And breathing in, raise the soles of your feet to the ceiling and your arms upwards. They can be like a bug. You don't have to raise your arms right back, but you can if you want to. And then breathing out, hug back in, hugging your knees into your chest. Take an in and an out breath. And then once again, raise your soles of your feet. You can keep your knees bent and your arms up above you or up above you and behind you. Your chin tucks into your chest. And then breathing out, hug back in again. And carry on in your own breath pattern, raising the soles of the feet to the ceiling, arms up and behind you if you want to. It's your choice how far you go. And then breathing out, hug back in. And again, a couple more times, soles of the feet to the ceiling as you breathe in, stretching under your arms, extending your heels, and then breathing out, hugging back in. And then the next one, the last one, stretching up. Hold the breath, and then breathing out, hugging your knees into your chest, and just enjoy hugging the knees as you rock once more from side to side. And then supporting your legs, perhaps as you place one foot and then the other foot back down to the ground. Your knees are hip width apart. You can rest your palms on the floor, or you can rest your palms on your abdomen. Your feet can stay hip width apart or even slightly wider as you gently let the knees drop from side to side. And you can lift your hips off the mat to do this, and how far you want to drop your knees down to the side is up to you. The wider you have your feet, the easier or softer it is on your lower back. And you can, if you really want to enjoy this movement, have your arms out like a T. That's quite strong under the arms as you're doing that from side to side with your knees. Or just keep your hands on your waist or on your abdomen. And then the final invitation is, as your knees drop to one side, your head can turn away from the direction of the knees. Your head and knees would come back to centre, and then your knees drop down to the other side as your head turns away from your knees. And this is beginning, as we carry on with this, to edge into something called somatic movements, which are very anti-aging, because we tend to curl in and our muscles tend to shrink around the joint level, so the hips and the shoulders, and this goes one step towards correcting that. And then coming back to knees up, feet hip width apart. And then hug your right knee into your chest, hold your right knee, and make little circles with your right knee in one direction. So you can feel here that we're working into the hip area. If ever you wanted a gentle hip movement that's very safe, this would be, and there are variations on this, this would be it. And then just circle your knee in the other direction. When we walk and make movements with our hips, the hip, the movement tends to be up and down, and it doesn't necessarily go in a rotational movement. And so we're fully exercising the hip, but without putting any strain on it. And then hug your knee into your chest, your right knee, hold behind the right thigh and just extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. Extend your right heel. And then the invitation is to walk your hands up your right back of your right leg. You can either stop when your hands feel comfortable and either stop here, or if you want to engage your abdomen further, there are two options: either to support your head and neck by holding your head underneath with one hand and lifting your head up as you breathe out, or you can hold your right leg with both hands and lift your head up slightly towards your right leg. And then breathing out, bring your head back down to the ground, bend your right knee back into the chest again, and turn your right knee out to the side, to the right, resting your right ankle on the left leg, top of the thigh. Hands on the abdomen or palms down, and then just rock both knees from side to side. And then reclined pigeon, lifting your left foot off the ground, hands underneath the left thigh, and just hold and support your left thigh. Your right knee opens out to the right. That might be enough for you. You can extend your right heel. You'll feel that in your right outer hip. You can extend a little bit further by hugging your left knee on the outside. That will really feel it. And you can lift up your left knee towards your face. It will only go a millimetre or two, and that will feel it even more into the right outer hip. And then release. Feet, both of them, back onto the ground. Hip width apart, and just circle, just sway your knees from side to side again. And then keeping your right leg where it is, or making any adjustments to make it comfortable, hug your left knee into your chest. And then very gently circle your left knee a few times in one direction. And then very gently reverse that circle, going in the other direction. If you're particularly interested in your hip, another variation of this, just to show you, is to place your right hand on your right hip bone, let your left knee drop out further to the left, and then make big circles or bigger circles so that the rotation in your hip is greater when you reverse it. So that's always another option. Hug your left knee in towards your chest, and then dropping your hands to behind your left thigh, raise your left leg up towards the ceiling and extend your left heel. And that in itself stretches along the back of the leg, sciatic nerve, hamstrings, it all gets a stretch. We are going to be walking our hands up our leg, but there's also the option to massage at the back of the left leg as well. And then gradually walk your hands up your left leg. Hold where it's comfortable. You can stay here, or you've got the option to either drop your hand behind your head and neck, supporting it as you lift it up, or just hold your leg with both hands and lift up, depending on your capacity. You don't want to strain your neck. And then breathing out, lower back down to the ground. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. And then turning your left knee out to the left, placing the left ankle on top of the right leg. Hands are either on your abdomen or palms down on the floor, as you just gently rock your knees from side to side. You're lifting your hips off the ground slightly, and you're just massaging across your lower back again. And then reclined pigeon or figure of four, tummy and perineum slightly engage, perineum up and lower abdomen in towards the spine. Lift off your right foot from the ground and hold underneath your right thigh, clasping your hands. That's one pigeon. That might be enough. You can extend your left heel, and the more you lift your right knee up towards your face, the more you'll feel this in your outer left hip. So the muscle we're targeting is something called the piriformis muscle, and that's very much implicated. It joins the leg with the hip. It's implicated in some or many lower back issues. It doesn't get used that often. And if you have more capacity, you can hold the front of your right knee. If your chin is shooting up to the ceiling, you've gone too far, bring your hands back so that the back of your neck is long. And then just very gently place your right foot back onto the ground, unravel your left. Hands, palms down on your abdomen as you sway both knees from side to side. Come back to the center. Cross your right leg over your left. Lift both feet off the ground and slide your hands down to hold your shins or above your ankles. So your left hand is holding your right shin or above your ankle, and your right hand is holding your left. And again, if you pull on your shins or ankles, above your ankles, you'll feel that opening on the outer thigh again. And then release. You can bring your feet to the ground as you unravel your right off your left leg, and then of course reverse, right leg over the left. Lift both feet off the ground, slide your hands down the shins and hold above your ankles, and just feel that outer hip pull or stretch. And then very gently release. Bring both one foot, the right foot to the ground, uncross the left. Keep your feet where they are. Raise your arms above your head, holding either at the wrists or maybe the elbows. Your backs of your hands can touch the ground or not. And just let both knees drift over to the right. You can look up or slightly to the left. Just take an in and an out breath. And then tummy, lower abdomen in, perineum slightly engages to support you as you bring your knees back up to center. Make any adjustments you need to. You might like to press your feet down and just lift your bottom and just straighten it out as your both knees move to the left. Keep your gaze either upwards or slightly to the right. So this is a rotation, which is aligning for the spine, but also you're opening up under your arms, so it's very helpful for the upper lymph system. And then roll up, knees up, center, lower your arms. You might want to shift your bottom by pressing your hands into the ground and just lifting your bottom. And now keep your right knee bent for the moment. Extend your left leg along the floor. Extend the heel and then relax the leg. And open your right knee to the right, so that you're coming into a lying tree. Your foot doesn't have to touch the inside of your left leg. You can rest your hands on your abdomen. You can rest your hands at the heart center, like you might do with tree. Or if you want to do a full tree, then you can also raise your hands above your head. Or open out your branches like you might do in tree, or just come to cactus arms. Lots of choices. And we're now focusing on the lower lymph area, so you're opening the inner groin. If you were doing this for a long time, you might like support underneath your right thigh, just to keep a supporter under your right knee, just to keep support there. And then take your right hand to support it under the right thigh, lifting up your right knee. Slide your left leg to bend the left knee, left foot on the floor. And extend your right leg along the floor, extending your right heel. And opening out your left leg to the left. So you're coming into lying tree on the left side. Doing tree Vrksasana on the ground allows you to open your hips more without the strain that there is when you're standing up. You miss the balance element of the pose, but you get the opening elements enhanced of this pose. And we have done our balance anyway. Resting your hands as before, either on your abdomen or hands together at the heart, mimicking tree, or above your head, using any variation that works for you. And then very gently lowering your hands as you breathe out. You can take your left hand to support your left thigh, bringing your left knee upright towards the ceiling. Bend your right knee, both knees to the ceiling, feet on the ground, hip width apart. And just do a couple of pelvic tilts, mobilizing your spine. You've been on the ground for a little bit. And then hugging both knees into the chest. Still holding the knees into the chest, let the knees extend to arm's length. Breathing out, hug both knees into the chest. And still holding your knees in, let them now, as you breathe in, extend to arm's length. Hug both knees into the chest as you breathe out, and let them extend to arm's length. And just carry on with this a couple of times as you're pulsing the lower spine and bringing circulation to the lower back area. And then very gently with your knees hugged in, drop your hands underneath your thighs. You can clasp your hands together as you gently raise your legs to the ceiling. You can keep your knees bent and just sway gently from side to side. Imagine yourself like a piece of seaweed, just moving as the water laps it, moving gently. So this, of course, is an inversion, is one of the back movements you need for optimal health, but it's also very good for balancing your endocrine or your hormonal balance. And we're not going to stay here for very much longer. You can slightly rock from side to side. Hug your knees into your chest. And then roll to the side to come to a kneeling position. Take your time. As you come into tabletop, just lift your feet off the floor and just tap the tops of your feet on the floor, just waking your feet up. And then knees hip width apart. Do take a cushion if you need to. Just slide your hands back to your knees as you kneel up. Hands up. Stretch your hands up. And then breathing out round, chin to chest. As you bring your hands to the ground and round your back, you can stay with your hands on the ground, your elbows above the ground, or you can just have your elbows touching the ground. And then slide your hands back to your knees as you kneel up. Carry on with your hands up. You either look ahead or up. Breathe out, round, chin to chest. Hands come to the ground, bottom up, and you can slide with your hands on the ground or further so that your elbows kneel or come up to the ground and your bottom goes up. And then slide your hands back, kneeling up again. Very slow, hands up, looking ahead or up, depending on your neck capacity. Round your back, chin to chest, hands to the earth, sliding along potentially, so that you're leaning your elbows on the ground, bottom up. And then very gently slide your hands back and bring your bottom to the side. We're going to come to finish the class into I would say a cross-legged position, but if that doesn't suit you, then come to whatever suits you, just for a few finishing breaths. Lift the flesh out, perhaps from underneath your bottom, and have your hands up on your knees. And imagine your hands like a flower. So in the yogic tradition, it would be a lotus flower, but you can choose any of your favourite flowers. And just practice opening and closing your flowers. You breathe in, open the fingers outwards so that your flowers open. And breathing out, just bring the fingers to touch gently together. Your flower is closed. And we start with the left hand. So you can have your eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter. You can be looking along the ground. As you breathe in, gently open your left hand's fingers to open your left flower. Breathing out, let your flower gently close on the left hand side. And as you next breathe in, open the fingers on the right side. Your right flower opens. And as you breathe out, your fingers just gently close to touch, thumb to the other fingers. Breathing in, your left flower opens. And breathing out, your left flower closes. Breathing in, your right hand opens. And breathing out, your right hand closes. And just carry on for a few breaths in your own breath time, opening one flower and closing, and then opening the other flower as you breathe in and as you breathe out. The fingers touch together. And we'll just do this a few more times. It slows your breath down. And it's calming for the nervous system. And when that happens, your blood is not constricted by any tension, and so you have optimal blood flow. And everything, your organs get more nourished. The exchange of oxygen in and carbon dioxide out increases. So everything works slightly better. And then just come to gently rest your hands. Your flowers can be open or closed, doesn't matter. And mentally take a colour and wrap yourself like cotton wool in this colour. So you can take a moment to have a thought for the day, for yourself or someone close to you, and mentally repeat that thought to set the intention for the day. And then as you wrap yourself like cotton wool, all the way around, back, front, top, bottom, just be aware that only positive things can come in, nothing negative. As you next breathe in your coloured air, breathe out anything you don't want today to the edge of your body. And as you breathe in again, breathe in your coloured air and breathe out anything you don't want today, pains or niggles or thoughts, to the edge now of the world. And then breathing in again, your coloured air, let it swirl around your body, emotions and body, and breathe out anything that you don't want today, that's not serving you any longer, to the edge of the universe. Bring your chin slightly to your chest, bring your hands to your heart. Take a bow for yourself today, and thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.